everyone, and thank you for joining today's wildfire update. As always, please ensure your cameras are off and your microphone remains on mute unless you're asking a question. We'll begin today with remarks from Derrick Forsythe, Information Officer with Alberta Wildfire, and Joe Zatylny, Deputy Managing Director for the Alberta Emergency Management Agency, and then we'll take your questions. Derrick, please go ahead.
There are 118 wildfires burning in the forest protection area today. 19 of those are out of control, 46 are being held, and 53 are under control. Wildfire danger remains extreme in the southern parts of the province. We did see increased activity in the Rocky Mountain House area yesterday, as two key wildfires in the Kiska complex around Nordegg and Bighorn First Nation showed extreme wildfire behavior. RWF 064 is located 25 kilometers south of Nordegg and is estimated today to be at more than 6,900 hectares. RWF 062 is 20 kilometers west of Nordegg and 9 kilometers northwest of Bighorn First Nation. It's now estimated to be at more than 4,900 hectares. Both fires have grown since yesterday. Some of the parks, campgrounds, and roads have been affected by these wildfires in the area. Please check with albertaparks.ca for the status of those areas, or check with Alberta 511 for more information on road closures. There has also been a new wildfire started in the Calgary Forest area overnight near the Burnstall Lake area in Peter Lougheed Provincial Park. CWF 065 is listed as out of control and is at 1.2 hectares. This has resulted in the closure of the Burnstall Trail and parking lot and the Commonwealth Creek drainage system to the north to enable wildfire fighters and equipment to respond to this wildfire. With the extreme fire danger in the south, the fire ban remains in place for the forest protection area south of the Pembina River. Please remember that this weekend, if you're out and about in that area, there are no wood campfires allowed as part of the fire ban. And while the wildfire danger has gone down in the central and northern parts of the province, it does remain high in some certain regions. Please check albertafires.ca for more information. We have seen some good news. I don't want to step on the AMA, but we've seen that the Little Red River Cree Nation has set August 5th as the date people can return to the communities of Jean Dore, Prairie, Fox Lake, and Garden River. And we're happy to see that the progress we've been able to make on those wildfires has helped to enable those folks to be able to return home. We continue to do our part over the long weekend to contain wildfires burning in the province. We ask anybody who's out there to take extra care, whether you're on your OHV or having a campfire in areas where it's permitted, to ensure that we don't make the situation on the landscape any worse than it already is. Thank you.
Thanks, Derrick. Joe, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Derrick. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for today's update. No emergency alerts have been issued recently. The Provincial Emergency Coordination Center remains at an operational level 4 to coordinate the provincial government's emergency response. Residents of Chipewyan Lake in the Municipal District of Opportunity have returned home. And as noted, Little Red River Cree Nation announced all 3 communities, and we're excited to see them able to return home on August 5th. We know evacuees from these communities have been eagerly waiting to return, and the First Nations are arranging transportation for all those that need it. At the same time, they're also restocking grocery stores and fuel supplies for 7,000 residents returning home. Information on alberta.ca/emergency is available to guide people as they're re-entering their community, and that's alberta.ca/emergency. Returning residents should take basic precautions and stay tuned for changing conditions. Local authorities also provide re-entry instructions for the specific municipality. We want to remind Albertans that returning home does not mean the wildfire season is over, or the threat of wildfires is completely gone. Evacuation alerts and orders can happen at any time, and being prepared to leave on a short notice is critical. When it comes to re-entry, we ask all residents who remain evacuated to be patient and to not return until it is safe to do so and local authorities lift their order. We also ask those traveling back from home to drive safely and check 511 for information on road conditions and closures. So for bus tours for Jasper residents, Yesterday, we announced that residents interested in touring the town of Jasper can now register online at alberta.ca/emergency. And that's alberta.ca/emergency. All Jasper residents may register. However, the priority access for the tours will be given to those whose homes have been lost or damaged. We are planning for the first bus tours to start tomorrow from Edmonton and Hinton. The caution, and this is all contingent, as the wildfire situation in Jasper National Park continues to fluctuate, this is subject to change and will only proceed at the direction of Incident Command, the team in Jasper, as conditions allow. To ensure everyone's safety, initially, no one will be allowed to leave the bus while inside the national park. Once eligible residents have registered, they will be contacted with more details. We know returning to the community for the first time can be very difficult for residents. And so mental health and support referral services will be available on the tour to help people prepare for seeing the disaster site, as well as on the buses and afterwards, to ensure people know where they can turn to for help. Again, Jasper residents who wish to register can do so by visiting alberta.ca/emergency. And those needing help with registration can also call Alberta Government Contact Center at 310-4455. And while the wildfire outside of the Jasper town site remains out of control, the Jasper Unified Command continues its work on a comprehensive plan for Jasper residents to return once it is safe to do so. Progress continues to be made, including the restoration of critical services and the remediation of various safety concerns necessary for the safety of return. Alberta Emergency Management Agency staff remain embedded with the local incident management team in Hinton and continue to provide a seamless connection point between emergency responders and the government of Alberta. We continue to ensure the full weight of the province and provincial government is behind Jasper and the incident management team. We know that being evacuated is incredibly challenging as well. And as mentioned earlier, for those that are taking the bus, supports will be in place, but I do want to remind everyone that there is help available, and Albertans can turn to 211 to be referred to appropriate services no matter where they are. And when calling 211, evacuees can press 6 for immediate support. And if they're in BC, they only need to tell the operator they're from Alberta. Emergency social services staff have also coordinated mental health and counseling support services to be available at reception centers across the province. And as the weather warms up again, the fire risk across the province is very high to extreme. Please think about preparedness and what you need to prepare for a possible evacuation. And we do have lots of useful information on alberta.ca/be prepared. That's alberta.ca/be prepared. We encourage all Albertans to stay connected with their local authorities' website and social media channels for up-to-date information. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. We'll now take questions from the floor. Each journalist is able to ask one question, one follow-up, and please ensure you state your name and media outlet before you begin. Jonathan, go ahead.
Hi there, Jonathan Bradley, Western Standard. So my question is for Joe. So you spoke about tours starting tomorrow, and obviously this is kind of soon given that yesterday was announced registration. Why did you want to do this? How were you able to do it? Why did you want to do this so quickly?
I think the feedback we were getting was there was a desire from residents, and working closely with the town and command and taking that feedback, the government decided to make sure that we did what we could to expedite this. And of course, this will be case by case, resident by resident choice. So if the residents say, tomorrow doesn't work, we will continue with tours as long as they're needed. And of course, work towards that date where reentry becomes the reality for everyone. So we wanted to make sure we did this as quickly as possible and had all the supports in place so that we can do this safely and efficiently, but also supportively as for our residents that have lost.
Okay. And my follow-up pertains to the mental health supports that you spoke of. What will those consist of on the buses?
And so we will have somebody picked up on the bus to be able to support those as they depart to Jasper. And once they're, of course, going through Jasper and returning to a staging site, so that they can help them along the journey. Of course, on top of that, we're the handout information and information that may be relevant, specific. So not just mental health supports, but if they're requiring information from other sources, that care package is being put together as we speak, so we can distribute that as well. And then, of course, every center that has evacuees has mental health support services and social services in there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. No name, but Global Edmonton, please go ahead.
Hi there, it's Kavi Mai there, and thanks so much for taking my questions. First one, I just want to talk about, I guess, the current fire situation in Jasper. I know early in the week we were worried about warmer weather and what that would do on the fire. Do we know if it's, I guess, latest numbers in terms of hectares and size or anything like that? Do we know if it's grown or has rain moved in to help? Just an update on that, if you don't mind.
Sure. Well, as you know, Parks Canada has the lead for this wildfire. We're assisting them through that process. The last number I saw was that the fire was at 6,900 hectares. But as for operational details on what's going on, that's going to have to come through the Parks Canada team that's running the fire.
Okay, thank you. And then my follow-up, just with the tours that are starting tomorrow, is there, how many days are those tours going for? Is it just like a certain amount of days that's scheduled for now and then they'll accommodate further, or what's the situation for that?
Thank you. Right now, the tours are being scheduled as they are needed. And so there's no end date in sight. We do know once reentry occurs, though, and residents are allowed to get back in. There will those will likely cease, but right now we're planning to make it continuous and support those. The primary, of course, is those that lost, but we're also asking residents who the information is that they didn't lose their home, that they sign up as well, and so that we can accommodate and strike that balance and have them on there as well.
Thanks, Joe. Scott, go ahead.
Thank you, Scott with Post Media Calgary. First question is about provincial park closures. I hope I didn't miss you say this, but did you say how many are closed at the moment?
I don't have a breakout of the number of parks and provincial recreation areas that have been closed, but albertaparks.ca will have that information available to you.
Okay, thanks. And follow-up is about the fire in Peter Lougheed Provincial Park.
Yep.
I know in Calgary there was some lightning and thunder yesterday. Is it suspected that that is what caused that one?
It's too early to tell. We just found out about it late last evening. So the fire is under investigation. We have a couple of crews on it and some equipment moving that way, was the last report I saw, but I have no information on what the cause of the start would be at this time.
Okay, thanks.
All right, that looks like all the questions we have for today. So thanks everyone for joining, and a reminder that the daily media update will be sent out after 3:30 p.m. today. Thank you.
Thank you.
The recording has stopped.